Ambassador Park stood alone at the viewport, gazing at the glittering spires of Centauri Prime as their shuttle made its final approach. Well, not entirely alone. Milo, his golden retriever, pressed against his leg, sensing his nervousness. "Ready for this, boy?" Park whispered, scratching behind Milo's ears. The dog looked up with those soulful brown eyes, his tail wagging slowly. Park had fought hard for permission to bring Milo on this historic mission. The first human to address the Galactic Council needed his oldest friend by his side. The shuttle docked with a gentle hiss. Two blue-skinned Centaurian officials waited at the airlock, their expressions unreadable. "Ambassador Park," the taller one said. "Welcome to Centauri Prime. The Council awaits." Park nodded, straightening his formal jacket. "This is Milo," he said, gesturing to the dog. "He accompanies me." The Centaurians exchanged glances but said nothing. They led Park through a maze of corridors, each more elaborately decorated than the last. Milo stayed close, occasionally sniffing the air with curiosity. The council chamber took Park's breath away. 12 massive seats formed a semicircle around a central platform. Each seat held a representative from the galaxy's most powerful species. Some appeared almost human, while others defied description. "Earth approaches the council," announced a melodic voice from somewhere above. Park stepped onto the platform, Milo at his side. He could feel the weight of alien gazes upon him. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," he began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "I bring greetings from Earth and humanity. We are honored to be recognized by this august body and hope to join you as equals in peaceful cooperation." A low growl interrupted him. Not from Milo, but from the reptilian figure seated directly across from him. The draconian representative leaned forward, scales gleaming under the chamber lights. "What is that creature doing in these chambers?" The draconian's voice grated like metal on stone. "This is a violation of protocol." Park bowed slightly. "This is Milo, my companion. On Earth, dogs have been our partners for thousands of years." A lower life form, the draconian hissed. "Unacceptable." The Centaurian chairperson raised a hand. Ambassador Park was not informed of this particular protocol. "Let us continue." Park resumed his presentation, outlining Earth's history, achievements, and hopes for the future. Milo sat quietly beside him, the perfect diplomat. Several council members seemed genuinely interested, asking thoughtful questions about human culture and technology. Then Milo yawned, a perfectly innocent dog yawn, showing teeth briefly before settling back down. The draconian shot to its feet. "This beast bares its teeth in the council chamber." A direct threat. "No," Park said quickly. "It's just a yawn. A sign of relaxation, not aggression." "Lies," the draconian spat. "These humans bring dangerous predators into our midst and expect us to believe they come in peace?" Other council members began to murmur among themselves. Park felt the situation slipping away from him. "Please," he said, "Milo is completely harmless. On Earth, dogs represent loyalty and..." "Enough." The draconian pulled something from its robes, a small silver device. Park instinctively stepped in front of Milo, but he was too slow. A pulse of blue energy shot across the chamber, striking the golden retriever. Milo made a small, confused sound, then collapsed. "Milo!" Park dropped to his knees, gathering the dog in his arms. But he already knew. The friendly eyes were vacant, the body growing cold with unnatural speed. "What have you done?" "Removed a threat," the draconian said coldly. "Lower life forms are forbidden in council chambers. It is law." Park looked up, tears streaming down his face. "He was my friend." "Security, remove the human," the chairperson said, sounding genuinely regretful. "This session is concluded." Two guards approached, but hesitated when they saw Park's expression. The friendly diplomat was gone, replaced by something cold and dangerous. "You will regret this," Park said quietly, gathering Milo's body in his arms. "Earth will not forget." The journey back to his ship passed in a blur. Park cradled Milo the entire way, ignoring the pitying looks from the Centaurian staff. Once aboard, he went directly to his private quarters and activated a secure communication channel. "This is Ambassador Park," he said, his voice flat. "Authorization code Omega-7 Delta. Activate the Cerberus protocol." The face on the screen paled. "Sir, are you certain? That would mean they killed Milo." Park's voice broke. "In front of everyone. As a demonstration." Silence filled the channel. Then, understood. Cerberus protocol activated. "Admiral Han has been notified. The fleet will be ready when you return." Park ended the transmission and looked down at Milo's still form. The Galactic Council had no idea what they had just unleashed. Humanity had suspected they might not be welcomed with open arms, had prepared accordingly. Hidden ships, advanced weapons, a deterrent they had hoped never to reveal. "You were the best of us," Park whispered to Milo. "And they'll learn that the hard way." The news of Milo's execution reached Earth faster than Ambassador Park's shuttle. Video of the incident, captured by Park's aide, spread across the planet within hours. People gathered in homes and public squares, watching in shocked silence as the draconian representative casually killed the golden retriever. President Kim stood at the window of the Oval Office, her back straight as steel. Behind her, military leaders waited in tense silence. She turned, her face carefully composed. "They killed a dog," she said quietly. "A friendly dog who threatened no one." Admiral Han nodded. "Yes, Madam President. If that's how they treat an innocent animal, imagine how they view us." President Kim walked to her desk and pressed her palm against a hidden scanner. A section of the wall slid away, revealing a safe. From it, she withdrew a small metal cylinder. "The Cerberus Protocol," General Yoon whispered. President Kim held up the cylinder. "For 50 years, we prepared. Since we first detected alien signals and recovered that crashed scout ship in the Arctic. We built in secret while smiling for the cameras." She inserted the cylinder into her desk terminal. "Ambassador Park has already given his authorization. I'm giving mine." The screen flashed green. Cerberus protocol activated. "Admiral Han, the fleet is yours." The Admiral bowed slightly. "We won't let you down, Madam President." Far from Earth, hidden bases throughout the solar system hummed to life. On Mars, massive hangar doors slid open beneath the red dust. Among Jupiter's moons, ships disguised as research stations engaged their engines. Throughout the asteroid belt, vessels that appeared to be mining operations transformed into warships. Admiral Han stepped onto the bridge of the Fury, Earth's flagship, hidden in a crater on the far side of the moon. The crew stood at attention, faces grim. "At ease," she said, taking her place in the command chair. "You all know why we're here. For decades, we've trained for this moment. We hoped it would never come." On the main screen, footage of Milo's death played silently. Han let it run for a moment, then switched it off. That dog represented the best of humanity, loyal, friendly, trusting. And they killed him to make a point. She looked around at her crew. "Now we make ours." Lieutenant Min approached with a tablet. "Admiral, all ships report ready. The stealth systems are functioning perfectly. The Galactic Council has no idea we exist." Han nodded. "Begin Operation Watchdog." Throughout the solar system, Earth's hidden fleet, 164 warships in all, powered up their engines. Unlike the diplomatic vessel that carried Ambassador Park, these ships contained technology reverse-engineered from the crashed alien craft. Earth had spent half a century preparing for this moment. On a remote base on Io, Captain Song supervised the loading of the last weapons system onto the Vengeance. His sister approached, concern on her face. "The Council has 13 species," she said. "Each with hundreds of worlds. We're just one planet." Song smiled grimly. "They think we're primitive. They think we brought our full technology to the diplomatic meeting. He patched into the ship's external cameras, showing the Vengeance's hull. What looked like simple metal actually contained millions of nanomachines, capable of adapting to any weapon signature. Let them underestimate us. Back on Earth, Ambassador Park's shuttle landed at a secure facility. He stepped out, still carrying Milo's body. A team of veterinarians waited respectfully, ready to take the dog for proper care. Park gently handed over his friend. Make sure he's treated with honor. Of course, sir, the lead veterinarian said softly. Park turned to find President Kim waiting. Madam President. Ambassador. She embraced him briefly. I'm so sorry about Milo. The Draconians did it deliberately, Park said, his voice hollow. To show what they think of us. The other council members did nothing to stop it. Then they'll learn what happens when Earth is provoked. President Kim gestured to a nearby screen where Admiral Han's face appeared. Admiral, status report? The fleet is ready, Madam President. We await your final order. President Kim looked at Park. This is your mission, Ambassador. What are your instructions? Park thought of Milo's trusting eyes, his unwavering loyalty. The Draconians acted with cruelty to demonstrate power. We will act with precision to demonstrate justice. He straightened his shoulders. Target their military installations only. No civilian casualties. Show them that humans value all life, even when seeking retribution. President Kim nodded. Admiral Han, you have your orders. Understood. Han's eyes were determined. The Cerberus fleet moves now. For Milo. Throughout the solar system, Earth's ships activated their stealth drives and slipped into faster-than-light travel. The Galactic Council, which had dismissed humanity as a minor species worthy only of probationary status, was about to discover how gravely they had miscalculated. In deep space, Admiral Han watched the stars blur around the Fury. They killed our dog, she said quietly. Now they face the wolves. The Draconian border station hung in space like a metal spider, its 8 docking arms extending outward from a central hub. Commander Jean watched it from the bridge of the Vengeance, floating just outside the station's sensor range. Status report, Jean said quietly. Lieutenant Kong checked her displays. Their shields are at normal levels. They have no idea we're here. Jean nodded. Earth's stealth technology was working perfectly. The Vengeance and 5 other ships had slipped past the Draconian early warning systems without triggering a single alarm. Remember the mission parameters, Jean reminded his crew. We disable, not destroy. Target weapons, engines, and communications only. The bridge crew acknowledged the order. They all understood what was at stake. This was not just revenge for Milo, it was humanity's first military action against an alien power. How they conducted themselves would define Earth in galactic eyes for centuries. All ships in position, Khan reported. Ready on your command. Jean took a deep breath. Begin Operation Watchdog. Phase 1. 6 Earth ships decloaked simultaneously, appearing like ghosts around the Draconian station. Before the aliens could react, precision energy beams struck key systems across the station's surface. Communications arrays exploded in silent bursts of light. Weapon emplacements melted into slag. Engine ports darkened as power was cut. Inside the station, alarms blared as Draconian officers scrambled to respond to the sudden attack. But their emergency communications found only static, no distress call would reach the Draconian homeworld. Jean opened a channel to the now helpless station. Draconian Border Station 7, this is Commander Jean of the Earth vessel Vengeance. Your weapons and communications have been neutralized. Your life support remains operational. This action is in response to the illegal execution of Earth's diplomatic companion, Milo, on Centauri Prime. No response came from the station. Jean hadn't expected one. Phase 2, he ordered. The Earth ships vanished again, jumping to their next target. Throughout Draconian space, the pattern repeated. Military outposts, weapons platforms, patrol ships all fell silent as Earth's hidden fleet struck with surgical precision. At the fourth target, a Draconian battlecruiser managed to launch fighters before its systems were disabled. The small craft swarmed toward the Earth ships, weapons hot. Evasive maneuvers, Jean ordered calmly. Non-lethal response authorized. The Vengeance rolled gracefully, avoiding the first wave of fire. Then it released a cloud of microscopic drones that attached to the Draconian fighters. One by one, the small craft went dark, their pilots still alive but powerless. Collect their pilots, Jean instructed. They'll be returned unharmed when this is over. Similar scenes played out across Draconian territory. Within 6 hours, Earth's fleet had neutralized 17 military installations without a single casualty on either side. The message was clear: Earth could have killed, but chose not to. On Centauri Prime, the Galactic Council convened in emergency session. The Draconian representative raged at the center of the chamber. "These humans are savages," he hissed, tail lashing angrily. "They must be destroyed immediately." The Arcturian delegate raised a tentacle. "Perhaps we should consider that they haven't actually killed anyone. Despite what you did to their companion animal." "A mere beast," the Draconian spat. "A being they clearly valued," countered the Medusan representative. "And yet, even in retaliation, they show restraint." The debate continued as more reports flooded in. Earthships had now appeared in the home systems of 3 council races, including the Draconians. They moved with impossible speed and precision, their technology far beyond what Earth had revealed during diplomatic contact. Aboard the Council's Defense Command Center, General Teff of the Centaurians watched in growing alarm as tactical displays showed Earth vessels appearing and disappearing across mapped space. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Their ships weren't supposed to be capable of such maneuvers." His tactical officer shook her head. "They concealed their true capabilities, sir. Our intelligence was wrong." "Deploy the Council Defense Fleet," Teff ordered. "All ships." The Council's massive defense force, comprised of vessels from all member species, moved to engage the human interlopers. It was the largest military force in the known galaxy, with thousands of ships. Admiral Han watched from the Bridge of the Fury as the Council fleet assembled. According to their intelligence, the fleet had never been fully deployed before. It was a magnificent sight and exactly what she had been waiting for. "They've taken the bait," she said to her officers. "All ships, execute Phase 3. Throughout Council space, Earth's fleet disengaged from their targets and vanished. Then, simultaneously, they reappeared around the Council defense fleet in a perfect sphere formation. Before the Council ships could react, the Earth vessels released a specially designed pulse. It swept through the enemy fleet, temporarily disabling their weapons and propulsion systems without harming the crews. Admiral Han opened a channel to all Council ships. "This is Admiral Han of Earth. Your vessels have been neutralized, but your crews are safe. We could have destroyed you, but that is not our way." She paused, letting her words sink in. This demonstration was necessary to show that Earth will not be dismissed or disrespected. "We seek peace, but we are prepared for war." She cut the transmission and turned to her communications officer. "Send the message to Ambassador Park. The fleet is ready for his diplomatic re-engagement." Throughout Council space, thousands of alien crews drifted in powerless ships, confronting an uncomfortable truth: humanity was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Ambassador Park stood alone in his temporary quarters on Centauri Prime, gazing at the stars through the viewport. 3 days had passed since Admiral Han's stunning display of Earth's military capabilities. The Galactic Council remained in emergency session, debating how to respond. A soft chime indicated someone at his door. "Enter," Park said, not turning around. The door slid open to reveal a tall, willowy figure with pale blue skin and large, silvery eyes. "Ambassador, son of the Arcturians." "Ambassador Park," Sun said in a melodic voice. "May I speak with you privately?" Park nodded, activating a small device on his wrist. "We can talk freely now. My security team sweeps for listening devices hourly." Sun settled onto a chair, folding long fingers in her lap. What your fleet did was impressive. Many on the council are terrified. That wasn't our intention, Park replied. Wasn't it? Sun tilted her head. You demonstrated power beyond what anyone thought humans possessed, yet harmed no one. It was a message perfectly delivered. Park turned from the window. The Draconians killed Milo without hesitation or remorse. We wanted to show we could have done the same to them, but chose a different path. And that is why I am here. Sun leaned forward. Not all council members support the Draconians. Some of us have chafed under their influence for centuries. Yet no one spoke when they killed Milo. A mistake we deeply regret. Sun's eyes dimmed slightly. You must understand, the bond you humans share with your companion animals is special. Most species in the galaxy lost such connections thousands of years ago. Park's brow furrowed. What do you mean? The ability to form deep emotional bonds with other species. Sun stood and approached him. May I show you something? At Park's nod, she placed a cool hand against his temple. Images flooded his mind: ancient Arcturians with creatures similar to Earth's wolves, Medusans swimming alongside dolphin-like beings, even early Draconians with feathered companions. We all had such bonds once, Sun explained, withdrawing her hand. But as we developed technology, most species grew distant from other life forms on their worlds. Only humans maintained these connections. And the Draconians? They see it as regression, a weakness. They abandoned their companion species during their industrial age and cannot understand why any advanced civilization would maintain such relationships. The door chimed again. This time, 3 more council representatives entered: the insectoid Medusan, the crystalline Procyon, and surprisingly, the reptilian Ophidian, distant cousins to the Draconians. We come in secret, the Ophidian said, her scales shimmering in the room's soft light. To offer alliance. Park studied them carefully. Why should Earth trust any council member after what happened? Because the council is fracturing as we speak, the Medusan clicked, mandibles working nervously. The Draconians demand war against Earth. Others call for negotiation. We 4 represent those who wish to see the council itself reformed. The Procyon stepped forward, light refracting through his crystalline body. For too long, the Draconians have dominated council politics through intimidation and ancient treaties. Your demonstration has created an opportunity for change. Park considered their words. What exactly are you proposing? A new alliance, Sun said. With Earth as a founding member. But first, we must address the current crisis. As they spoke, tension was building elsewhere on Centauri Prime. In the council chamber, the Draconian representative pounded his fist on the podium. The humans must be punished, he roared. Their attack on our military installations cannot go unanswered. Attack? Admiral Han's voice cut through the chamber as she strode in, flanked by Earth security officers. We disabled your weapons while harming no one. Compare that to your unprovoked execution of an unarmed creature during a diplomatic meeting. The council erupted in shouts and arguments. Han stood calmly at the center, her uniform crisp, her expression resolute. Earth did not come seeking conflict, she continued when the noise subsided. But we will not be bullied or dismissed. The Draconian representative hissed. Your primitive planet has no place among starfaring civilizations. Primitive? Han smiled coldly. Our primitive ships just neutralized the entire Council defense fleet without firing a single lethal shot. Outside the chamber, Captain Song of the Vengeance received an urgent communication from Earth. President Kim's face appeared on his secure tablet. Captain, our deep space sensors have detected Draconian reinforcements approaching Centauri Prime. They launched before their communications were cut. Warships, heavily armed. Song immediately relayed this information to Admiral Han through their secure channel. In the council chamber, Han received the message without changing her expression. It seems, she said to the assembled council, that the Draconians have summoned additional warships to this supposedly peaceful meeting. The chamber erupted again. Several representatives turned accusingly toward the Draconian.
Is this true? Demanded the Centaurian chairperson.
We have the right to defend ourselves, the Draconian snarled. That was all the confirmation needed. Throughout the chamber, representatives began taking sides.
Some moved to stand with the Draconian, while others backed away in disgust. In Ambassador Park's quarters, the meeting with the 4 council members was interrupted by this news. It has begun, the Ophidian said grimly.
The council will not survive this day. Park activated his communication device. Admiral Han, this is Ambassador Park. I'm with representatives from 4 council species who wish to ally with Earth. Please ensure their safety in what's coming.
Han's voice came through clearly.
Understood, Ambassador. Earth forces will protect our new allies. Outside Centauri Prime, the Earth fleet reappeared, positioning themselves between the approaching Draconian warships and the planet.
The lines were drawn. The Galactic Council, which had stood for 3,000 years, was fracturing before their eyes.
Park looked at his new allies.
For Milo, he said quietly, and for a better galaxy. Morning light streamed through the enormous windows of the new Confederation Assembly Hall. The building, constructed on neutral territory in the Arcturus system, gleamed with materials from 100 worlds. At its center stood a simple memorial, a statue of a golden retriever, head tilted in that curious way dogs have, ears perked forward.
Ambassador Park paused before the statue, remembering Milo.
6 months had passed since the dog's death had changed the course of galactic history. 6 months of conflict, negotiation, and finally, a new beginning.
He would have loved this place, said Admiral Han, joining Park at the memorial. All these different beings to sniff and lick. Park smiled faintly. He would have charmed them all, even the Draconians.
Speaking of which, Han nodded toward the assembly entrance where delegates were arriving for the day's historic session.
A group of Draconians entered, their scales gleaming in the light. They were not the same faction that had controlled their government during the conflict. These Draconians represented the reformist movement that had overthrown the militarist regime after Earth's decisive intervention. Their leader, Representative Trock, approached the memorial and bowed deeply. Ambassador Park, Trock said, voice raspy but sincere. My people wish to express our profound regret for what happened to your companion. We have much to learn from humans about respect for all forms of life. Park nodded, accepting the gesture. Thank you, Representative. We look forward to building a new relationship with your people. Throughout the hall, delegates from 27 species mingled.
Some had been council members, others had been denied membership by the old power structure. Now they would all be equals in the new confederation. President Kim arrived with her delegation, drawing respectful attention. Earth, once dismissed as a primitive backwater, now commanded respect throughout known space. Their hidden fleet had proved decisive in the short but intense conflict that followed the Council's collapse.
Are you ready? President Kim asked Park quietly.
As ready as I'll ever be, he replied. The session began with the formal dissolution of the Galactic Council and the ratification of the Confederation Charter.
When Park stepped to the podium to present Earth's proposal, the hall fell silent.
Delegates of the Galactic Confederation, he began.
Today I present what we on Earth are calling the Milo Doctrine. Its premise is simple: all sentient life deserves protection and respect, regardless of form or origin.
He activated the display behind him, showing images of humans with various companion animals, dogs, cats, horses, and more exotic pets. For thousands of years, humans have formed bonds with other species on our world. We did not see this as a weakness to overcome, but as a strength to cherish. These relationships taught us empathy, responsibility, and the value of different perspectives.
The Arcturian representative, Sun, stepped forward.
The Arcturian delegation supports this doctrine. We have studied human-animal bonds and discovered something remarkable. She gestured to her aides, who brought forward a small container.
Humans possess a latent telepathic ability, focused through emotional connections.
It is not the powerful telepathy some species wield, but something gentler, an empathic bond that bridges species boundaries.
Murmurs spread through the assembly as Sun continued. Most of our civilizations lost this ability as we advanced technologically. Humans retained it, and we believe this has shaped their unique perspective in the galaxy.
Park hadn't expected this revelation, but he incorporated it smoothly into his presentation. Whatever the scientific explanation, the principle remains: diversity strengthens us all. The Milo Doctrine would establish protections for all sentient life and create programs to reintroduce companion relationships to interested species.
The vote was unanimous.
As the session concluded, delegates approached Park with questions and congratulations. But he slipped away from the crowd, seeking a moment of quiet. He found it in a small garden outside the assembly hall, designed with plants from Earth and other worlds. There, waiting with Captain Song, was a surprise. A small puppy with golden fur wobbled across the grass toward Park. It wasn't Milo, nothing could replace him, but its eyes held the same gentle curiosity. "She's from Milo's breeder," Captain Song explained. "The Confederation Council thought you might be ready." Park knelt down as the puppy reached him, her tail wagging enthusiastically. She licked his hand and looked up with complete trust.
"What will you name her?" Song asked.
Park watched as the puppy explored the alien garden, fascinated by every new scent and texture. Above them, ships from dozens of worlds moved through the sky, a visual representation of the new order they had created together.
"Hope," he said finally. "Her name is Hope." That evening, as representatives from 27 species celebrated the birth of the Galactic Confederation, Ambassador Park stood on a balcony overlooking the capital city. Hope slept peacefully in his arms, exhausted from her big day. Admiral Han joined him, looking out at the stars. "Do you think we did the right thing? Revealing our fleet, forcing this change?" Park stroked Hope's soft fur. "The old council was built on fear and dominance. What we're building now is based on understanding and respect." He looked down at the sleeping puppy. Milo would approve. In the garden below, delegates from former enemy species walked together, talking quietly. Several had requested Earth's assistance in locating compatible companion species from their homeworlds, the first step in rediscovering ancient bonds. "The galaxy will never be the same," Han said. Park smiled. "That was always the plan." In the distance, Earthships patrolled alongside vessels from their new allies, guardians of the fragile peace they had forged together. And in Ambassador Park's arms, Hope dreamed of running through fields of alien flowers, unaware that her predecessor had changed the course of galactic history forever.